blah 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 blah. Yeah, dabba doo.
God, the piss. Hey, welcome back to the P.I.S.S, ladies and gentlemen. I am Chasen.
I am Brett, the Clark.
And we're coming back to you this third week. We want to thank everybody who's tuned in, downloaded, and listened. Share it with your friends. Share it with your kids. Share it with your dead grandmother. EVPs. Do it.
Let's get serious.
Let's get pissed. Brett, how the hell you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty darn good.
Professionalism, folks. Professionalism.
It's set on loop. It's on random.
Yeah.
No, but
that's actually the only part of the song we have.
Yeah, it is. That's all we did. We got the band together to do that. No AI was used at all.
None.
Beat that.
We use Skynet.
That's right. That's right.
We want to thank everybody. We really appreciate you guys listening. The numbers continue to creep up. So, if you're a return listener, welcome back. If you're new, we hope you have some fun. We hope we bring a little knowledge to you, get you thinking outside of the box when it comes to the paranormal. We opened up the show as we always do. Brett, what we got for the Fringe this week?
Well, first,
let's get pissed.
Yeah.
What we've got going on in the Fringe Cringe is everybody familiar with Chris Bledsoe, right? The orb angel summoner. He has now moved into the category of fork bending or pinning, sticking forks to walls, or so he's
eating with a fork.
So he's going into that kind of metal bending, fork bending, Uri Geller bullshit. If that doesn't show you what kind of a crank he is, there it is.
Next thing you know, he's going to be sticking them to him like he's a magnet. Like that Stan Lee superhero.
Oh, the fuck. Yeah.
Normal people have superpowers.
Yes. Yeah.
This is me walking around with a spatula stuck to my forehead.
I guarantee you, if anybody that who might be a new listener, I guarantee you 95% of them, if they hear me rip on Chris Bledsoe, they're going to turn it off immediately. I'm sorry to disappoint you, but the guy is a fraud.
Hey, listen, over the course of the next few weeks, you're going to hear some stories from us, personal stories, stories of people we've interacted with in the field.
Mm-hmm.
All kinds of stuff. And we're not going to, we're going to try our best not to downplay or downgrade anybody, but sometimes you got to call a spade a spade. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's like if you're in this trying to make friends and maintain friends, it's one thing, but I think you have to be willing to call stuff out when you see it.
Well, it's like that. There's people that want legitimacy and want certain subject matter be taken seriously, and there's certain people that do not help. So it's like we're gonna call it.
It's like, okay, I get into this field, I want to be a legit investigator, a researcher. Great. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. You can be in the background, you may even luck out, you may be in the foreground, you may get some interviews, you may get some TV shows. Great. You won. Hey, I win. All right. Yeah. But when that light starts to die,
yeah,
and all of a sudden you're not in that limelight anymore. Next thing you know, you're bending spoons. or you're making magic wands.
Jesus.
So, just think about that, folks. If you're in this field, you get lucky People start listening to you. Maybe you get some interviews. Maybe you write a book. Hey, more power to you. That's great. But when it's over, understand that it's over. Mm-hmm. Don't water down what you did that may have seemed legit, or may have actually got some buy-in from people to start doing parlor tricks, man. Next thing you know, you're conducting seances with a rigged table or something.
Oh man, yeah, that's a whole other thing we could talk about is like that. There's a cycle, and where things, history repeats in the paranormal. There are people that are pulling out old tricks and old stories from ages ago, and they're kind of just updating the tale or the trick in a way, but it's something that's been done for ages, and it's like, seriously, we're
from the 1900s.
Yeah.
Okay, we've been around a while. Mm-hmm. We've been involved in this field a while, so we've seen a lot of stuff. And actually, I was thinking about this, and we're going to talk about this on a later show, because this is an idea I had when I had this realization when we were coming up, and to some degree our parents, because, a lot of these monsters and things are handed down, right?
Mm-hmm.
Bigfoot, UFOs. I mean, they're handed down. These are legends, and you kind of inherit them. And something I noticed that pisses me off a little bit, but at the same time, I see it in real time and I recognize what it is, because it was the same for us. We just didn't realize it at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Our myths and legends, Loch Ness Monster, Bigfoot, the abominable snowman, right?
Yeah.
The kids nowadays, it's Slender Man.
Yeah.
It's the Hat Man.
The Rake.
Now, those of us who are of a certain age know that's complete bullshit. Yeah. Because we were around when that shit went internet famous.
Mm-hmm.
And we know it was completely made up.
Like the Dybbuk box.
There's a whole generation of kids now that don't know that. They weren't around when it was made up.
Yeah, it's like a lot of people that spread the mythology are hoping that there are people that don't know the history, so it's like, gotcha. You're so busted.
And that actually is a good segue into what we're going to talk about today. A friend of the show was talking to me last week and said, we had brought up the Minnesota Iceman.
Yeah.
She was like, I don't know what the Minnesota Iceman is.
Aha.
So what we're going to do this week is we're going to educate you people a little bit. We're going to give you a little background story about the Minnesota Iceman. We're going to tell you some interesting facts about it.
Yeah.
And Brett actually has a personal story about the Minnesota Iceman.
Yeah, I went out with him back in the 80s.
Investigated.
Now, I went bestiality mode and dated the Minnesota Iceman. Yeah.
Yeah, this is going to be on the After Hours podcast.
I'm kidding, but
you don't want to listen to this one on the ride.
It's bad. Yeah, really it's too early.
Really bad day.
I'm sorry. Yeah, but to lead into that, Iceman, let me go ahead and preface by saying this: there's a documentary it's gotten the rounds. It's called Capturing Sasquatch, and it has a certain take on the Patterson Gimlin Bigfoot film, the most famous of the Bigfoot films, and it is going to be released. It's been hitting some small film festivals and playing in at some little local film houses, but it hasn't gotten distribution until just recently. So it's going to be hitting the streaming market in October. I think it's October 20th or 25th, somewhere in there. Basically, it's going to be released on the anniversary of the Patterson Gimlin film footage.
And so, for those of you that don't know what the Patterson Gimlin footage is, if you have ever seen anything about Bigfoot, you have seen this film.
Yeah.
This is the film that shows the Bigfoot walking away from the camera, turning around and looking over his shoulder, and then walking away. Shot by Bob Gimlin. Basically, that was the holy grail for Bigfoot researchers. And they may come out now and tell you it's not. Oh, well, we've always had questions and problems. No, you didn't. No, you didn't.
Who you kidding?
Because I can't tell you how many people ate off of that film. And we're talking about Jeff Meldrum. We're talking about legit people in the industry who analyzed and talked about the musculature under the fur and the breasts, how it's a female, and how it has a mid-tarsal break.
Oh, fucking shit.
It's just and for years they could not disprove it. And they scientifically analyzed it and talked about they actually showed the skeletal movement underneath through analyzing it, and it's fake.
Mm-hmm.
It's finally come out after all these years. I think that was 76.
When was it
came out? Was it 76?
I think it was like in this. Well,
or maybe 68.
I was thinking 68. Yeah,
I think it's 68 that it came out. It stood the test of time.
Yeah.
It's 2026, folks. Almost 60 years.
Yeah, it's a champion of a dupe. I mean, it's. I mean, it's. But the thing is it's got a great. I mean, I'll give it to Patterson. The dude, he knew he was dying, and he was wanting to try to protect his family, and be able to provide money for them while he passed away. And I mean, this is the ultimate Breaking Bad story.
Yes.
I mean, he did a good bang up job there, Patterson. Wicked.
He's like, I'm the one who knocks. but that actually, because when they were analyzing it, they're talking about it was, even Hollywood couldn't create that suit at that time. Who says it had to be anybody in Hollywood?
Uh-huh.
How many people out there, the haunt industry, just because they don't work in Hollywood doesn't mean they're not better than what can be done in Hollywood.
Yeah.
How many basketball players were better than Michael Jordan but never got a shot?
Yeah.
How many makeup artists are better than Rick Baker or Tom Savini, Greg Nicotero? Never got a shot. Never got a break. They're working at a haunted house somewhere in some podunk, hole in the wall.
And pop down.
But, just because the people in Hollywood couldn't do it doesn't mean that somebody local to where that happened couldn't do it. And somebody did it better than Hollywood. Which, actually leads us into, what we were going to talk about today, kind of ties in. We'll talk about Patterson Gimlin more later. But the Minnesota Iceman. So basically the story behind the Iceman is there was a gentleman named Harmon who started showing off the Iceman at local fairs, much like we talked about last week.
Yeah, like Snake the Bigfoot Hunter.
And what it was a... Those of you who aren't familiar with cryptozoology, the father of cryptozoology is widely accepted to be Bernard Heuvelmans. Okay, Heuvelmans was a zoologist. Ivan Sanderson is also way up there in the annals of cryptozoology. Ivan Sanderson, Bernard Heuvelmans. They pretty much are the creme de la creme when it comes to cryptozoologists. There was a gentleman named Harmon who was showing off the Minnesota Iceman in local fairs. And what it was a block of ice that contained a humanoid-looking, we'll say, ape, because it was covered in fur except for the face, the hands, the bottoms of the feet, the genitals. And within the ice, you could see that one of the eyes was missing. The other eye was out of the socket resting on the cheek. And there was blood that was out of the mouth that had been frozen in the ice that you could see, showing that there was obviously some sort of trauma. Now, Harmon had been showing this off, and Heuvelmans and Sanderson got wind of it. and went to go check it out. So after looking at it, after studying it, they came to believe that this was legitimate. The story goes that this being was shot in Siberia and had entered into the Asian trade, black market trade, where it had then been purchased by a multimillionaire, secretive millionaire in California, who had partnered with Harmon to show the Minnesota Iceman off. Okay, if that's not some James Bond shit,
Yeah.
I don't know what is. Secretive millionaire partnering with some random schmo to show this off. Okay. But they came to believe that this was the real, genuine article. That this was, whether it was a Neanderthal, whether it was a Yeti, they said it was legit after looking at it. So, the renown of this thing started getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And you could actually, I'll take that back.
Mm-hmm.
They noticed that you could actually smell the putrefaction.
Yeah.
I love that word, putrefaction.
Putrefaction. It's a good man.
You just sound smart saying it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they could smell the decay from the block of ice where parts of this thing were, starting to come through the ice. But you could actually smell the decay. Now, because this renown started growing and everybody started saying, the smell and everything that was being reported, the FBI actually got interested in the Minnesota Iceman and started investigating the Iceman because they thought that perhaps Harmon was in possession of a murder victim. That they had been dressed up in some way to look like, a Bigfoot or what have you, and had it on display. Now, round about time the FBI started getting interested, all of a sudden the Minnesota Iceman stopped showing. They stopped showing it. Harmon takes it off, doesn't show it anymore. Now, there was about a 6-month period where the Minnesota Iceman is not shown. At some point, about 6 months after that, all of a sudden the Iceman is back. It's back on display. Harmon claims this is the original Iceman, but there are noticeable differences between what Hoovermans and Sanderson originally saw and what's on display now. Noticeably, the ice, there's more ice this time, so evidently it had been refrozen.
Mm-hmm.
The position of it had been moved, and it just didn't quite look the same, is what was claimed. And at the time, Harmon was trying to get back. He was trying to take it over the border into Canada for a show, and it was stopped at the border, because Canada, they're looking at, you can't transport human anatomy or body parts or whatever, what have you, across the border without the proper paperwork.
Yep.
And Harmon, went through the whole thing. No, this is fake. This is, it's not real. It's made out of latex, what have you. And Canada tells him, okay, you can do this one of two ways. You can provide paperwork showing us that this is a fake, or you can let us x-ray it to prove that this is not real. There's no bones, no anything. Let us x-ray it, and we'll let you in. He refuses. He downright refuses. No, I will not let you do that. The story goes that he reached out to his millionaire owner in California, who then pulled some strings with some powerful friends. At the end of the day, he was allowed into Canada to do the show. Now that he's back, the FBI gets reinterested in the Minnesota Iceman. And again, Harmon realizes what's going on, and the Minnesota Iceman disappears into the annals of time.
Now, here's a question. Was it Harmon, or is the dude's name Hansen?
It may have been Hansen.
Hansen.
Maybe I've got the name wrong. It could have been Hansen. It started with an H.
Yeah.
It could have been Harvard.
Yeah. Hominy.
But yeah. Okay, Harmon, Hansen, whatever. Story's the same.
Same thing.
So, yeah. FBI gets reinterested in it. Once again, Iceman disappears into the annals of time, never to be seen or heard from again.
And if you think the Iceman, the Minnesota Iceman sounds familiar, if you Google it, you'll see the image of it. And, it looks like he's like, oh, I've got a bad headache. He's got, his hand, one hand, down around his crotch, and the other hand's like, oh, that's up above his head. And he's, it's just like he's having a bad day. And you'll be like, oh yeah, I think it's one of those things where you see the image of it. You'll be like, oh, that's the Minnesota Iceman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you actually saw the Iceman in person.
I did. I totally did. It was something that I had totally forgotten about. I think back in the deep reaches of my brain, it was like a kind of a scarce memory, but I was watching something years ago and they brought up the Minnesota Iceman, and I was like, oh shit, that's what I saw. And it just it totally brought the memory back, because it was back in God, it might have been 1979. I was about I'd have been 7, 8 years old. My brother told me that Haynes Mall, they got this, everybody shout out Winston-Salem Haynes Mall. He said he saw an ad in the paper that they were bringing this exhibit to the center section at Haynes Mall. And he told me that, he's like, hey, you want to go check this out? And I'm like, what is it? And he was like, it's kind of like a Bigfoot. And I was like, okay, let's go check it out. So, he takes me over there, and lo and behold, this little trailer's parked in this intersection of Haynes Mall. And you paid there at the trailer, and you step up, and they had a little plank built around the trailer, and you could walk around, and it was definitely a big block of ice. It was cold in there, but I remember looking, kind of staring at its face for what I could see of its face for as long as I could to see. I was like, is that real? Is that a real damn, what is that? And I remember it. I do remember there was a funky smell around there, but I can't say that. I can't say, of course, like I said, I was a wee lad, and I don't remember exactly. I don't remember it smelling like carcass, that type of smell, but it was just like, a little stinky.
Yeah, and one thing I forgot to mention is that Hansen's story changed.
That's right.
As more people started to ask more questions. Originally, it was shot in Siberia.
Yeah.
And, then it was in the Asian market, where it was purchased by the reclusive millionaire in California. Eventually, Hansen said, "Oh no, I shot it. I shot it. I was out hunting deer.
Yeah.
I shot this deer, and the deer ran, and I was tracking it. And then I come around the corner, and then I see 2 small Bigfoot-like creatures eating the deer, drinking the blood from the deer. And there's the larger male behind them, sort of watching over them. Sort of how primates do, like baboons and things like that, where the leader of the troop, the male, will stand guard while the others eat and do all these things. And when the male Bigfoot saw him, it charged him, and he shot it. And that's where the bullet hole, it was actually, he had a broken arm. It was shot through the arm and then went into the face, blowing the eye out. And obviously the pressure from that popping the other eye out. That is what the story changed to. And again, once the FBI got interested again, the Minnesota Iceman came off the market and passed into the annals of time as a legend.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, it was one of those things that I'd totally forgotten about. And it just like almost vanished from memory until I just stumbled on one of these shows, and I was just like, it's like this. It was like a jar it was like, oh my God, I totally remember this thing. And you know, but I remember there was quite a crowd lined up to see that thing, and it was it was one of those, you know, that was back in the days when all kinds of these wanky things were going around.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
And
So-
leave it to Snake the Bigfoot hunter to recreate this whole ordeal.
The tie-in to last week is they're doing it again.
Yep.
Snake is doing it again with this Bigfoot he found up in New York. So you're probably, you know, driving or walking or sitting there thinking, you know, I wish I could have seen the Minnesota Iceman.
Mhm.
How cool would it have been if I could have seen that? You know, if I'd have been around in those times, or I'd have known that was out there and I could have went and seen it. You know, I often think myself, I wish I could have seen the Minnesota Iceman.
Mm.
Well, the good news is you can.
Yes.
Because in 2013, guess what came up for sale on eBay? The Minnesota Iceman. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, the Minnesota Iceman.
Yeah.
That claimed it couldn't have been faked at the time. Sounds an awful lot like Patterson Gimlin.
Yep.
The Minnesota Iceman came for sale in 2013 on an eBay listing for $20,000. And the owner said it was the exact one that had been on display, that Hansen had on display all those years ago. And you can actually look at pictures of it because it was purchased by the Museum of the Weird down in Texas.
That's right.
They have pictures of it that you can go see, and you can actually go and visit it at the Museum of the Weird.
You could see it in Poison.
It was bought for $19,000.
They haggled.
Now, you may look into the store and you may see that Hansen was offered way more money for it at the time and refused to sell it. And in the end, turned out to be fake, and it was sold for 19 grand. And what, 40, 50 years later?
Mm-hmm.
So the point is, people, the human ability to, and the drive to want to be a part of something bigger will lead many to lie, to cheat, to steal, to fabricate, right? Because everybody wants to be remembered for something. And the will to believe may be even stronger. Now, I'm sure there's some out there who say, well, you know, he probably switched. He probably switched it. Maybe he did. But I'd say there's about a 98% chance that you can go down to Texas to the Museum of the Weird and see the Minnesota Iceman. It is still laying in a case in the same position you see in the picture.
Yeah.
It's just not covered in ice.
I almost want to check it out.
So there you go. If you're in Texas or a surrounding state, you may want to take a trip down to the Museum of the Weird. Go in there and take a look at a legend, the Minnesota Iceman.
Here's to you.
That concludes our story on the Minnesota Iceman. We hope we educate you a little bit. Hope you learned something. Hope you enjoyed the listen.
Are you drinking again?
I am.
I knew it.
I am.
You did that Robert Loggia.
Robert Loggia.
You did the Robert Loggia there.
Yeah.
Hope you educated you.
We hope
Let's teach him how to bring those sons of bitches down.
Get on the radio. Yeah, we hope we educated you. We hope you learned something. We hope you enjoyed the listen. That's what we're going to do. We told you we're going to educate you. We're going to give you the good. We're going to give you the bad. We're going to give it to you straight.
Yes.
And yeah. So we'll go ahead and wrap up the third show. Thanks, everybody, again for listening. We hope you'll continue to come back. Tell your friends.
Tell them all.
Let them become pissers like the rest of us.
Yeah, exactly. We'll be back next week with some more material for your head to brew on.
That's right. It's going to be a surprise because, truth be told, we don't even know what we're going to talk about.
What the fuck we're doing.
So come on this journey with us because we're having fun. We hope you are. And with that, we are the Paranormal Investigators of Spirits and Such. I'm Chasen.
I'm Brett.
And we will see you guys next week.
Good day. Send your emails to pisscasters@gmail.com.